Alright, so for today's video, we're joined by Miss Mitzi, who has, decided that my right leg will be her pillow for the duration. Anyway, so I wanted to talk briefly about NASCAR's recent statement regarding the alleged hate crime against Bubba Wallace. So basically, somebody found what appeared to be a noose hanging in the backstage area of the Talladega NASCAR venue in Alabama, and it was assumed to be a noose or assumed to be a hangman's noose directed as a taunt at Bubba Wallace, who is a black NASCAR driver. The FBI investigated and found out very quickly that that was not the case, and thank goodness. But their statement was the FBI has, or NASCAR statement, I should say, the FBI has completed its investigation at Talladega Superspeedway and determined that Bubba Wallace was not the target of a hate crime. The FBI report concludes, and photographic evidence confirms, that the garage door pull rope fashioned like a noose had been positioned there since as early as last fall. This was obviously well before the 43 team's arrival and garage assignment. We appreciate the FBI's quick and thorough investigation and are thankful to learn that this was not an intentional racist act against Bubba. We remain steadfast in our commitment to providing a welcoming and inclusive environment for all who love racing. This is what's incredible to me. First of all, it's weird to me that it took the FBI coming in to figure out that that was a garage door pull. When I first heard about this, I thought it was I thought like maybe the this noose thing was hanging in such a way as to be like it was like he opens his I don't know what it's like backstage at a motor speedway, but like he opened his locker and there's a noose hanging there, prominently displayed, something that's obviously been tied by hand to look like a hangman's noose put in his locker, or something like that. But instead, it obviously had a utilitarian function, and I'm amazed that it took the FBI getting involved to determine that that's what it was. I mean, it seems like the placement of the rope would have, as a garage door pull, would have given away its function. Didn't you use it in opening the garage door? But irrespective of that, the only thing that I am glad, by the way, I should emphasize, I am glad that this was not, turned out to not be a racist action. That is good. That should not be tolerated, and it was complete. If it had been, it would be completely unacceptable. Now, this does not plummet to the level of, as Dave Chappelle put it, juicy Smollier, just because it was not an intentional hoax, but it was incorrectly identified as a racist act, and so of course it's like it seems so. I don't like the word cringe; it gets used a lot, but so cringingly asinine when this happens, or something like this happens, where we had a parade on the Motor Speedway, the Talladega Speedway track for Bubba Wallace in all of this, and we've had all of this press coverage and all of this now, and it's revealed to have not been a hate crime at all. But the real word, the one word, the pivotal word in this that I have a problem with is they say it was not an intentional racist act against Bubba. Let's take out that word and read the sentence again. We appreciate the FBI's quick and thorough investigation and are thankful to learn that this was not a racist attack against Bubba. This is what really worries me. That word intentional. Because they are playing into, by putting that in there, they're playing into the narrative, the kind of, I guess you call it the unconscious bias narrative, this idea that even though the rope pull was installed just for the functionality of the door, it was installed long before Bubba and his team started using the garage, It was very quickly and easily proven to have a different purpose than, or a utilitarian purpose. All of these things, even though all of these things were put in place or were understood, we were still uncomfortable saying that it was not a racist act. We have to suggest that there was an unconscious bias thing, there was a microaggression aspect of this. There was something, it's not, it's literally taboo to say something is not racist. The very best they can say is that it's not intentionally racist. No, it's not intentionally or unintentionally racist. Ropes have purposes. And many of those purposes involve tying them in a circular fashion for a grip, to have something to grip onto, as is the case in this garage door pull. Just because that vaguely resembles a tool of oppression that's been used in lynchings and hate crimes does not mean that there's some kind of cultural corollary, that this somehow weighs on Bubba's shoulders when he goes to use the garage for his car or whatever. I mean, there is no racism here. There is at best a kind of, I guess, pareidolia, implication of something that appears similar to something associated with racism, but it's not. It's not racism at all. So, that's the thing. I want to reemphasize that I am not at all in favor. You know, I feel like so much of this in the current discussion, if a white person takes any kind of contradictory position on this, they're immediately lambasted as being either consciously and willfully racist, at which point if they deny that, then they're unconsciously racist, which I wholeheartedly reject altogether. That's the Robin DiAngelo white fragility bullshit. But we have got, as a culture, we have got to be comfortable saying things are not racist. Really stop and think about that for a minute. Really hold on to that. Really sit and think about that for a minute. That it is now taboo to identify things as not being racist. These swim goggles are not racist. This hairbrush is not racist. This cat is not racist. This notebook is not racist, even though it has kitty cat paw prints all over it. It's not racist. It's okay to say things are not racist when they're not racist. Yeah, you look at me like that now, but you know what I'm talking about.